So, good evening and welcome to the second episode of Xavier's Unplugged. Today, we have a very special guest with us today, Yash Sharma. So, to begin with, can we have a short introduction about you and your fondest memory in Xavier's?
Sure. So myself, Yash Sharma, as you mentioned, I am a business graduate from St. Xavier's College itself, from the batch 2020. Post which I started my own business called as Football Geek. One of my fondest memories about Xavier's would be back in my third year at the later stages, where we created a group of friends who were all defaulters and named it the Debart Cult. The idea behind that was to motivate everyone daily to come to college and make the sure that the 75% attendance is marked. And we had a lot of fun as well. We even had a trophy called as Yuvraj Cup and that would be given to anyone who would come all the 6 days of the week as well. So that created a lot of good memories and even motivated me to finally come to college more often and meet my attendance as well.
Can you tell us about your time in different fests like Zephyr's or Malhar? Like, is there any fest which actually helped you grow and like meet new people?
So for me, I've not been a part of a lot of fest. One was, of course, Zephyrus, which is our own departmental fest, wherein I was within the sponsorship side, helping in getting some brands on board. That really helped me to do some market research and also to do cold calling. So cold calling, of course, is a very difficult skill set, and for me to start a business, I feel that helped me a lot as well. Apart from that, I do not have much exposure in fest. At my point of time, felt it would be a waste of time, but I had a different preference that would be running my own business at that point of time as well. However, I would definitely recommend people to do that as well for networking or just for sheer experience as well, because I know a lot of people who are very fond of fests as well, and I do know that has a very good core memory for them as well.
Right now, we have the NEP which is in place. So, SIP is something which is compulsory for a lot of people. So, one of the ideas which was recommended to us by professors was to probably start an NGO with your friends or something. But considering your profile, you have already done that. So, can you tell us something about that? And if there's any one of us who actually want to do that, what would be some tips as to
Right.
what we can do?
So I actually did that back in my eighth or ninth standard with one of my close friends, where the idea was not to start an NGO per se, but just to do something for the poor people. So that is how the idea started, and it grew to attracting a lot of our school friends to be a part of that project as well. So that is how we started doing that, and we ended up doing a lot of rallies against firecrackers, or doing some workshops for cancer patients and raising funds or raising let's say, what do you call it, raising gifts for underprivileged as well. So during Diwali we did a couple of things as well. If anyone wants to start that, I would recommend first have a passion for that, as well as to you actually have to care, be it whatever, be it helping underprivileged or doing something totally different like cleaning or doing anything of those sorts. You just first need to actually care about it, and you want to make sure that you're consistent about that as well, so that first day maybe nobody is there, but second, third day, second person will come, third person will come, and so on. So that is how what I would recommend someone, if anybody wants to do an NGO, to start their journey with caring first, and then things will align itself.
So, what was the core about like your NGO? Like, what was the main work? Was it like teaching or something?
It was supporting the underprivileged. So we did a lot of donation drives for the underprivileged, wherein we collected clothes. We were not about collecting money, because that also looks scammy when a 8th standard kid is asking for it. We were more driven towards getting clothes for poor kids, and we did multiple things. So anything that would motivate a 10th standard old as well. We did rallies against firecrackers. We also did a workshop for cancer patients. So there were a lot of young people with cancer, and we did a workshop for them where it was more about enjoying rather than nothing, no education, nothing and such, but just having a good time with them as well. And that made me personally, and even the people who were part of that, grateful to life as well, because when you look at them, you automatically will be very grateful.
So, why the name Brightening Our Future?
So yeah, when we were in eighth itself, we were focusing about brightening our own future. So during that time itself, the drives like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, those kind of things were also on track. So that also comes with a narrative of cleanliness, and that is for a, if you have clean surrounding, you have a clean mind as well. So that perspective, plus we were trying to improve our own surrounding. at whatever capacity we could. So be it helping an underprivileged, or be it doing something totally different, focusing on our future. So one of the examples could be we had a rally against firecrackers during that time, because at that point of time it was very common. Hopefully, it's not much common now during Diwalis when you burst crackers. But the idea behind that also was that to create awareness that we should not burst firecrackers. So the perspective for that is to make sure that in the future our future is bright as well.
Now let us come to Football Geek, which is your company.
Right.
So let us start from the beginning. So what piqued your interest in football? Like where was that thing in your life?
So ironically, I was a cricket captain in my school days until 10th standard. Post which I had friends who were into football, and I started playing FIFA with them quite often. So being competitive, it's very. I was not as good as they were. So I became very addicted to playing FIFA, and slowly, then I started watching football as well. So it was back in 2016 during the Euros. I saw Ronaldo. Fell in love with him instantly, and I started watching football since then. And unfortunately, I made a mistake of following United, and I've been following them since the last 10 years or so now. And yeah, it's been a ride since then.
Why Ronaldo though?
I mean, sheer dedication. He is a perfect example of passion or hard work beats talent.
Tell us something about Football Geek as to what is your core thing. What are the activities you guys do?
So, Football Geek is basically a sports management company specializing in football. We started organizing football tournaments back in 2018, wherein we would do one-day private tournaments across Mumbai. Post 2022, after COVID, we further diversified into becoming a media agency, wherein we help football academies with marketing and social media. The idea behind Football Geek is to promote football in India, make it as popular as cricket is. So when we organize football events, we are doing grassroots level tournaments for young players and clubs, giving them the exposure and experience. While when we are doing media, we are helping create awareness about football by making people consume football content on social media platforms rather than any other sports or any other form of entertainment as well.
So you mentioned a grassroots level. So are there clubs which is existing in grassroots level as well where you guys are able to tap into?
Yes, there are a lot of clubs. In Mumbai itself, there would be more than 200 football academies at grassroots level itself. Across India as well, there are a lot more clubs than you might be thinking. Plus, it's growing. So, in the last 5 years since I have been in this hardcore, the business has grown. The industry in football itself has grown a lot as well.
So, how does this club system work as to like, do you guys choose certain clubs to have events with, or what is the process?
So when we started initially, it was a open event where any open age category team can come and play. Post 2020 itself, when I had to double down on this business, we had to strategize how to get into this. So we started doing a lot of football tournaments for academies. So anyone can participate who are in that residency or location itself, and it's convenient for them to come. So these are usually one-day events that we organize for teams to just come and give their players more experience and exposure.
So, coming back a little to Xavier's, is that it's a very interesting thing in your profile that you actually started the company when you were in college itself.
Right.
So, you started the company in 2018 and you graduated in 2020. So, those 2 years, how did you manage your academics, your projects, and everything with this also?
That's a very good question. So back in 2018, when I started, it was more or less for side income, pocket money is what I would say, and it was difficult to manage. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I could not be a part of a lot of fests as well, and I had to sacrifice that because I liked doing this more often, and it just happens. You just make time for it. So I live in Navi Mumbai. I had to travel an hour every day, but then I would instantly leave after college. I would not, socialize much here. I would just go and I would just work on this or be there and do something or the other. And the second point would be sitting late hours at night and doing it as well. It naturally happens when you like something, you will focus on that naturally. So that's how it happened for me.
So, basically, what was your thought process as to like, were you like, since you joined college itself, were you always hellbound that you want to start a business?
Yes. So not football geek specifically, if you would say, ask me that, I would say I did not know I would do this, what I'm doing right now 5 years ago. But I always wanted to do business, or I like not even business. I would say I would like to create things. So be it events or be it anything for that matter, I would like to create and I like to market it. So those were the two things which got me into the business side as well.
So tell us something about your thought process as to starting a company, like right from the scratch. So what were some of the challenges you faced? What was like the most difficult thing which you had to encounter?
So, during my initial phase, from 2018 to 2020, I did not have big problems because it wasn't a proper business. But after my college got over, it is when the business actually took off and I had to take care of it as well. The initial challenge was to make it a business from pocket money to actually a big business to make sure that at least I am getting paid in the first place. So the scalability was a problem. Also, since we were in events and events are not stable, they are a little risk oriented. I also faced problems with stability. So if you do not have stability, you cannot also build a team around it. So these are the two main problems I was encountering during my early stages of the business.
So what about funding? Considering most of the people, even if they want to start their own company, they work for a certain amount of years, they save money, and then they start the business.
Right.
So for funding, how did that exactly work out for you?
So funding is not required, honestly. Like you can start a business with 0 rupees itself, but of course it will take a little bit time. For funding, I was fortunate in the initial run also to get some help with my friends and family as well, and later on, further on, take more investment later on in the 5 year period as well. So funding is something that helps it, but is not the core thing that is required to run a business. It will help us scale it as well. And how I have gotten that is more or less attracting. The reason people might invest in me is because of the passion that I might have for my business. So a lot of investors do not invest in the business but on the person itself, and I have seen that firsthand itself now. In the initial run, even during after my college itself, I had a couple of my friends invest in the business, and they had no idea what I was doing. They just knew I'm doing something, but they always would see that I was very passionate about it. So that is what led to getting funds as well.
So your company would basically come under event management, right?
Primarily, yes, but eventually we even diversified after 2022 and became a media agency. The reason for that is because media is something we explored later on, and that seemed more stable. And it is also very easily scalable compared to events. So, right now, we are 75% of a media agency and 25% of an events company.
So I just want to focus on that events part is because a lot of people are into some kind of event management when they are in college. So what would be some advice you would like to give it to them so they can scale it up?
Okay. So I feel a lot of students here would have that exposure due to the fest itself, and fest, of course, look very fancy or very nice to be a part of, and it is much better outside as well. So when you go out and do events, it will be a lot of fun. You will get a lot of opportunities, but the only downside is that there is required hard work, and if you cannot do that because it expects more than what you might be thinking you need to deliver. Events are very unpredictable. They are very risk oriented, and it's a very time consuming thing as well, and it also puts burden in your body. So there are very good sides of it as well and very glamorous sides of events, but people often miss out the hard part of it as well, and that is something which will burn people out later on when they get into it. And that's where the interest is something very important. So I would only recommend people who want to do that is when you first of all care about doing an event. Secondly, you care about the people who are there and their experience. So if you get happy because somebody came to your event and had a very good experience, that itself is sufficient to for you to do events, because money you can make anywhere, but you need to have good values from whatever you're doing first, and then money will flow with that as well.
So supposedly you're having a football event and it rains, and because of that there are some people who are just pissed or they're mad. So how do you actually tackle such kind of situation? Have you ever faced
I
something?
tackle the opposite problem because they want to play, and I have to tell them it's not possible because some teams might not be able to travel, or maybe the conditions are not good as well. Because what target market we have is usually the younger age group, so a 15-year-old or a 17-year-old, and they are more enthusiastic about playing than not playing. So it is actually the other way around for us. Usually to tell teams, okay, it's not the feasible time for you all to play, and maybe next is time when we can do it. But yeah, there are some times when we have to postpone the events as well, and that is exactly the risk part where it comes as well. And with time, we understand that as well. So first year when I did it, I might have not assessed it, but with time and with experience, we keep assessing those kind of situations as well. And the main answer for that would be, okay, we postpone it to another week, and that's how we can settle that.
What if teams cancel? Like, 1 hour before the event.
Yeah, that also happens as well. So during the initial phase, of course, that would happen very often. And now to solve that, we take token money as well, or advance, as you may say. That at least helps us to make sure that the teams are showing up to the event.
So the next part you mentioned was the social media part, right? So a lot of students as well, they have small businesses, probably some kind of like keychains or some certain kind of things which they sell even during the fest as
Right.
well. So they only have small social media accounts. How do you actually get that whole account to be actually viewed by a lot of people?
Understood. So I'll come to the social media part secondly. What I would like to first highlight is the marketing itself, because marketing is the main purpose, and that happens primarily on social media by a lot of small businesses. So for social media marketing, what we need to do is we just need to be out there. Okay, a lot of times people want to be perfect before they go out there, and they miss out the opportunity as well. I personally also have done that a lot of times, and very recently is when I have started to make sure that is not happening. But don't try to be perfect, and be consistent. If you do these two things, then you will have a good success in marketing itself. Coming to social media is also very simple. You just have to be consistent. Now, you might see a lot of accounts which get viral. There is one account, one guy who's trending right now who's like, 10 rupees ka biscuit kitne ka hai? Now, if you might think that that person, or not you, or anyone might think that that person just started yesterday and is now viral. But if you go onto his account, he might be, doing this for a long period of time as well, and he might be trying different things that has not worked for him. It's just that this one thing probably worked as well. So coming back to your question as to, a small business owner, what should they focus on? Focus on building customers and trying to create a bond on social media. And what's trending right now is trying to tell a story rather than trying to make people laugh. That's a lot of people trying to do that. If you can tell a story and keep doing that and keep giving them some bits every second day, that is when people will start engaging with them, and that is probably how they will sell it as well. Do not try to sell first build a relationship, and then automatically they'll buy. If they ever require it, they will buy it from you itself.
So is it like necessary to stick with trends or trending audios just for views?
Unfortunately, yes. Like, I just was dancing yesterday on a reel for the same reason, where you have to do that on social media. That's the unfortunate truth. You have to do what's trending.
So now let us come to promoting football. Now India is a country where IPL is something which sells out like crazy. Now what do you think would be the right move for companies like you guys to actually promote football? There are a lot of people who are interested in football, especially the youth. But the issue is there's no guarantee of a career.
Right.
For cricket, you can actually practice. There is a hope that okay, I can play in the IPL or something. But for football, there is nothing like that, unfortunately, in India.
Right.
So, what do you think is the right way? How you can promote football so that there is something like maybe we can have a national team.
Right.
Something.
So for football, what I would say, or for any sport apart from cricket, is that you have to be patient. So when I started this, the Indian football scene was 10 times smaller than what it is right now. And the only reason why I'm existing right now was, first of all, I was patient, and secondly, you have to undercut yourself in terms of, let's say, pricing, or in terms of upselling yourself with more service as well. So anyone who is looking to get into the football industry needs to understand that it will not be gloomy on first day. You have to be there for a longer period of time, and that is how the growth will come. Now, Indian football is there. There is a structure that is there, which is very dicey, but it will be better eventually. That is what my belief has been since I started, and I know not today, but 20 years later, where Indian football will be in a very good stage, and that is what I am thriving on. Now, if someone wants to start their football career in India, they will not start it because they are not going to get a good salary, or they will not start it because there are no good profits in that. But if you forget those two things and just say, okay, I'll sit here for maybe 3 years and I'll get bigger eventually, is when they will thrive as well. Anyone who's looking to work in ISL, which is the highest level right now that they can work in Indian football, they need to start from the lower side, grassroots side, and that way it will not look fancy. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to know, okay, you will be there at top, but you have to be patient as well.
So if there is someone who's like 15 years or 16 years, and you really see that there is potential in this kid, that this person can play really well, but somehow you convey this potential to the kid, and the kid is totally convinced. But how do you convince their parents कि अच्छा wait करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा,
Right.
but eventually they will reach somewhere.
Right. So I feel there is a big shift between the parents thinking about this anymore. There are of course a lot of parents that think that way, but since we organize grassroots level tournaments, we have seen a different side of parents as well. So the new age parents are actually pushing their kids to do some sports now, not even for career, but at least for their fitness to begin with. But a lot of parents are also very much invested in trying to build a career for their kids, primarily because they are second or third generation parents now, in the sense they have been in the city, they're doing well to do, and they could not be a footballer or they could not be a sports person. They probably now see that within their child as well, and they have the luxury to do that as well. So that is shifting. It will always be very difficult to convince any parent to push their kids from sports to a better paying job because of the lack of security. And the Indian mindset is that for a long time as well. But it's shifting. It's shifting towards also sending your kids to your daily turf sessions for football or even for other sports. There are a lot of parents who want their kids to do multiple sports in a day, not just football, but they'll also send for basketball. They'll also send for kabaddi or whatever there is that can help them as well.
So most sports, like when you see some sports movie, they have this one coach who has like inspired them or something. So is like having a coach very necessary? I agree that that person would play a crucial role in their life, definitely. But if a person who does not want to go for training, probably because their parents are not convinced, or probably if they cannot afford it, so if they practice on their own, is that good enough, or is it necessary to have a coach?
It can be good 90% of the times if they are really good and they do the other things that the coach also offers. For example, of course, coach will train you. That is something that maybe you can do yourself every day morning. You wake up and do it. Another thing that the coach can help you is networking and sending you for trials or for other clubs to play. And that is one of the difficult things that a lot of players are not able to do by themselves because they are so engrossed doing the football training itself that they might not have the time to do that. So if they are able to do that, then a single player without any coach can also do it. But I would be very harsh to say that honestly, because coaches definitely play a very big role as well. Not just to tell them what to do, but even outside of football, in life itself, there are so many things that football and a football coach can teach a person. So a coach will be a very important figure in anyone's life as well.
So we have seen that you've shown an interest in esports.
Right.
So what do you think about the future of esports in India?
So esports is already booming. Like we unfortunately have seen it a little late, I would say. It's been booming post COVID a lot more as well. The reason why we are getting into it is also because of how FIFA is also pushing it, and even how Indian football is trying to adapt it as well. So we are trying to take inspiration from them and also do it. But outside of football, I feel esports is already a bigger market. In football, it's just trying to evolve, and there are a lot of good career opportunities outside of football, unfortunately, right now. But eventually, there could be in football esports as well. But again, it will take time, and it's all about being patient and believing that it could happen.
Are you guys planning on developing anything in that sector?
Yes, we are. We are running few pilots right now to test the waters, understand the market, and see what are the players or the consumers basically are feeling about it, and then we might go full fledged behind esports as well.
So in the first segment, we talked about Football Geek and we talked about the NGO which was started by him. Now we'll talk about placements. So tell us about your placements. Did you sit for them? What was all about it?
So I do have a funny story about my placement as well. So initially, of course, during the early stage of placements, I was not very keen on taking a job. Also because I did not meet the criteria, also because of the high CGPA requirements. But yeah, post which at the later stages of placements, I did get a job, and unfortunately, then COVID happened. So that is unfortunately for me initially, but then I felt it turned out to be a blessing in disguise for myself. The placement I got was something that I did not know I would want to do. So I was not so sure about it, but of course I thought that is what I had to do. Fast forward 6 months of COVID, there was no response on the job because of the COVID situation itself. So I could totally understand why that happened, and that helped me pivot towards starting my own business as well, or doubling down into that.
So you said that you were placed,
Yes.
but then the company didn't contact you. So and Football Geek existed long before that as
Yes.
well. So how did you build it up then? How did you start it exactly then?
So actually, I started back in 2018 itself during my 12th standard and just when I started out my college as well, wherein a couple of my friends just thought that I could do tournaments. I presume that also happened because of my NGO, wherein I was doing a lot of events as well. So they assumed that I could do this itself, and they pushed me to do tournament for only our school students. So I organized a school tournament where a lot of our classmates were playing as teammates, and I was getting random calls from outside as to they also want to play this tournament, and I was a little taken aback as to why do they want to play this tournament, and I was okay with that because we needed some teams anyway, and that is how I understood that there is a new market or a whole different market of Mumbai football and five sides, and I since I got some good pocket money, I tried to do it again as well. So that is how my journey started in football, and the second tournament which I did, unfortunately, I could not have a lot of teams as much I wanted to, and it felt that I was begging to people or requesting them to please come and play this tournament and all, and that kind of hurt my ego. So to just fill my own ego, I tried to create a brand which will attract people to come and play rather than me going and calling them to play tournaments as well. So that is how Football Geek started for me. And ever since that, I've been able to do a lot of more events as well, where people are just able to come because of the brand name itself.
So was there like a break because you accepted a job offer, right? So was there like a break in the middle?
No. So until 2020, I was doing events, and the job was supposed to start after our college itself. But that is exactly when COVID happened. And after COVID, of course, there was a big pause of 6 to 9 months across the industries. And therefore, I got some time to even think and plan about Football Geek as well. So there wasn't a pause as such as to operations of Football Geek, but there was a general pause across the country.
So now I just want to know how many people did you start with?
Alone. I was alone. Started. I sometimes I did get a lot of help as well. Even a lot of my college friends helped me, and before that, maybe my friends also helped me also. But it was, of course, me running. I do not want to say I was doing everything, but 95% of the time it was just me. Eventually, I was able to hire some people, and that is how the journey started.
So coming back to placements,
Yes.
if you are the recruiter and one of us is sitting there, what would be the key skills you're looking for?
So if you talk, let's say, because most of you guys will be also freshers, I am not looking for how much you know the job. For us specifically, actually, it also is how much do you know football and how much passionate you are about football. That is one. But if you want to keep football aside as a employee or a candidate, what we would look is that you need to be a little bit you need to be a person who cares first of all and who wants to grow, because a lot of times what happens is people at an early stage they just want to jump ships for better career growth, and that might help them a lot as well. But what we are looking is someone who can be obedient to the job, gets the work done, and we can depend on them. So these are the two to three things that we look for a candidate as well.
So supposedly, for example, me, I have zero knowledge about football.
Right.
So I do you hire people who have zero knowledge about football, or is having knowledge about football very essential?
So when I started, it was 100% yes. But with time, since we have grown so much now, we have to hire a lot more people, and then this becomes a big question for us as well. So now we are a little open about having non-footballers as well, because our idea is now that if I get a non-footballer and working in football geek, and I'm able to convert you into a football geek, then also I've done a job. I am promoting football in some capacity. So we also have a football conversion plans for our employees, where we are, planning how can this person get introduced to football.
Okay, now I just remembered an interesting thing. There was a post you had put on LinkedIn where you had mentioned how you had created the first logo,
Yes.
and then you changed the logo.
Right.
So can you tell about like what was your vision about the first logo,
Right.
and why did you decide to change it?
So because I tell you why I changed it, because I felt it was very immature of design. Considering now I'm so much into this business and of design side as well, how I created that or how I even created a name was something that I felt needed to be resonating me first. So football geek, why that term comes is because I am actually a geek. That means I obsess over football. So I am more into watching football and tactic side rather than playing. My technical skills are actually very poor. I'm not a good footballer, but I can watch football anytime and I will analyze that game. So I was a nerd in that aspect. So that is how the name came into the picture. If you want to describe the logo, it's basically a crest, which a lot of football clubs have, and that crest is wearing a specs. So specs is because a lot of nerds have specs as well, and in that specs we only have football. So that is because all I see is football. So that is how that logo also came into picture. The reason why I changed it is because I kind of grew out of it personally, because that design was not of high quality in my opinion. So I came back to a little bit more professional, because also our branding changed after 2022 when we diversified into becoming a media company. We had to be a little bit more professional, and I felt that suited it well as well.
So now tell us your key philosophy you live by. So what is that one thing you feel like, okay, this is very crucial to me? And also tell us about your vision for Football Geek. Like in the next 10 years, where do you see yourself?
Sure. So, philosophy, I have been already saying that I guess a couple of times, is caring about it, and having that passion, because you can be very hardworking, you can be very talented, or you could be anything. But if you don't care about it, or if you're not passionate about it, then you will not grow yourself. And anyone who asks me as well, or like, ask me for recommendation as to, okay, how do I start a business, is first I ask, why do you want to start it? Do you care enough to do that as well? Another key philosophy of for me will be to be very loyal and also be very obedient, meaning that people need to trust you. If they cannot trust you, then you cannot grow. Now a lot of our clients trust us with their marketing, so that is because we are either loyal to them or we are very obedient and we get the work done as well. So those will be my key philosophies. If you ask me where do I see Football Geek 10 years, I will be lying whatever I say right now, because it has been changing every 6 months, only because we keep growing. So if you would have asked me 1 year back, I would have said I want to manage ISL clubs social media accounts. If you would have asked me 6 months back, I would say we want to be pan India company. If you ask me right now, I want to be a global brand now. I want to have clients across the country. I want to have a presence very strong across India, where everyone knows about Football Geek in some capacity, so that we are catering to every single one. Right now, we are only catering to football academy owners and football players, but we also want to cater to amateur footballers. We want to cater to people who might be interested in getting into football as well. So anything that helps promote football in any capacity, we want to do that, and we want to be known with that as well.
So, one more last question is that students like 15 years, 16 years, or maybe even in college, if they have just been playing but they want to play professionally, how do they actually get into an academy or get into some kind of place where they can actually get into that networking? That, okay, I'm playing over here, then okay, I get some training and then I'm playing at a bigger
Right,
place.
right.
So, how can they actually get into a proper academy?
Okay, so if a player, let's say, who is 12 years old or 15-year old, let's say, who has no club experience as such, needs to start from the lowest level, which will be district. That will be, let's say, Mumbai district or Thane district. They need to take a club, play there for a year. When they are 16, they need to push for getting into an I League 3 club. So I League is basically a tier below ISL, and that is how they could be at a higher level. So the pyramid is actually created now after a long years as well. And anyone who's looking to play needs to start from the district, needs to go to a team which has a national reach in a I League level, and hope that they keep getting to the upper level as well. Another thing could be doing a lot of tries abroad as well, but that may not be feasible for a lot of people. But if you have the talent, you might be getting scouted by that way as well, because of the now in the day of internet, it's very much possible. I know people who put out videos of themselves on social media and get a call from a scout outside who might call them for a 1 month camp, and if they are good, they get selected as well. So that would be my suggestion for anyone as well.
Now, what would be a generic advice to all the students? Like, there are a lot of us who are confused about our careers. Do I start a business, or should I sit for placements, or should I go abroad, or should I just continue studying?
Right. So first of all, I would recommend every student to enjoy, like have a very good time in your college, because after 3 years or whichever you're getting graduated, you are not going to have this kind of experience ever again. So enjoy is the first thing that I would recommend. You will not know what you want to do in your first year. You will not know what you want to do in your third year. You just need to be confident in yourself that you will be somewhere. Where is that place, you will get to know eventually, and have that direction. So a lot of people feel business is very, the best option, but that's not the best option, it's the worst option to do. So that is something that people need to try and understand as well. So you might try a job, you might try a business as well, explore things, and this 3 years will give you that. Anywhere, in whichever college you might be, this 3 years is somewhere there is no pressure in you. You have the opportunity to explore so much, and you can also network a lot as well. So I would recommend people to enjoy and just be confident that they could do something, and have a small framework. Don't have a long framework. I personally did not know where I would be 5 years later. I do not know where I will be 5 years from there year as well. So that is something, a very difficult question to ask for anyone. And that pressure I also had when I was a first year student. Okay, what do you plan to do after college? So do not take that pressure. Just believe in yourself that you'll do something, and just be good. Just that believing is not enough. You just need to do a couple of things that will help you all as well, like doing fest, doing a lot of internships will help you all as well. So I did not do it, and I will say I do not regret it, but I would have loved to do some internships as well, because now when we hire people, whoever has internship is a much better candidate than who does not have an internship as well. So that is what my recommendation would be. Plus that internship will also help you understand where you want to be. Right now you feel okay, sports management is nice, I will do that. Do 3 months, you might not like it later, and you might like marketing, but do it 3 months, you might not like it as well. So do a lot of internships, you'll explore a lot, and then you will yourself know the answer. I cannot tell you what you can do, only you can say that for yourself.
So that is it for the questions.
Okay.
Now we'll move on to the rapid fire round.
Sure.
Okay. So the first question. If you were to have your own football team someday, who is that one player you would absolutely not want in your team?
Okay. So from a professional player itself, right?
Yeah.
Mm, I would not have Messi, because everyone would have him. Everyone would want him, so that team gets better, and I would be wanting to the underdog.
Okay. Then we know a little bit from because of our professors that you have been into a little bit of hair coloring. Which is one hair color you would actually want to try it on, but you've not done it?
White color.
White
Yeah,
color.
I want to do it. Naturally, it's happening now, so but I would have loved to do it myself.
Okay. Then next is your favorite thing in the canteen.
Oh, there was this. I don't know what you call it. Chicken cordon or something like that. I guess it's. I don't know if it's still there or not. It was chicken cordon blue or something is what they call it. I don't know if it's still there or not.
I have not heard.
So that is one thing. Oh yeah, that's one.
One word you want to be remembered by.
That's a very philosophical question that you have asked me there. A legend.
A legend. Interesting. So that is it for the rapid fire round as well. Thank you so much for joining with us. You have been an amazing guest. And that is it from our side. So, yes, signing off.